Well, it was an honor in the summer of 2006 to serve on the governor's task force for looking at credentialing for registered counselors, and then also the following summer 2007 with a legislative work group. We took a look at the registered counselor category and the credentialing standards. In the state of Washington, there's three types of credentialing. There's registration, and there's certification and licensure. And there's a category called licensed counselors and another category called registered counselors. And there was a striking difference between these two categories. A registered counselor took an AIDS, HIV course, a 4-hour course, and paid a $40 fee, and they became a registered counselor. And by law, they could provide counseling services for a fee. Some of these individuals had master's degrees and were working towards licensure. Others had a bachelor's degree, others had associate degrees, and a few that we found out didn't even have a high school diploma. And so there was some really concern around the citizens of Washington in terms of going to see a counselor, not knowing the difference between a registered counselor and a licensed counselor. And then with the training and supervision and education of that particular individual. So you can imagine individuals come in crisis to speak to someone. Sometimes even taking that step to call someone and ask for help is difficult. Someone might be suicidal, depressed, having relationship difficulties, and sitting down with someone who doesn't have training in terms of assessment, diagnosis, and treatment plans. There were a lot of individuals in Washington that were getting counseling, but from someone who was untrained. And some of the fear was also they weren't in a position in stress themselves and distress to know what was adequate and good counseling. So this past legislative year in 2008, the governor signed into law with the legislation that passed to revamp the registered counselor category. And it created 8 different categories. In my work from the Washington Association of Marriage and Family Therapy and the other mental health disciplines was to really help create some titles and categories that describe the training and education and the treatment that were being provided of the providers. And that way, those here in Washington knew the type of services that they could expect as well as that they would receive.